Okay, we are talking nitrates, nitrites. Going to finish up today. I think we've been talking about them for a couple of weeks now. We've been talking about nitrates and nitrites as nutrients, which is a somewhat unconventional view of these high-energy, explosive substances that most people recognize pretty much only as a potential carcinogen or cancer-causing substance. As it turns out, there's lots of health benefits associated with nitrates and nitrite ingestion. They're found everywhere in the body. They're found everywhere in nature. They're especially found in veggies. And like most, or many anyway, nitrogen compounds, they are explosive. Nitrogen by itself doesn't do anything. Our atmosphere is made up of about 80% or so nitrogen, and obviously it's not explosive. But when nitrogen is manipulated by bacteria or by other forces, lightning is one of the major forces that manipulates nitrogen. When nitrogen is tweaked around chemically, either by lightning or by bacteria or by heat in general, and combined with other elements, especially oxygen, you get, and also sugars and fatty substances, you get explosive stuff. Nitroglycerin, TNT, gunpowder, saltpeter. You get fertilizer, all kinds of explosive stuff, all kinds of high-energy stuff comes from the reaction of inert nitrogen, or the chemistry, the chemical reactions associated with inert nitrogen and bacteria and lightning and heat, etc. In the world of chemistry and the world of nutrition, one of the key concepts is power, or explosive power, or high energy, has this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of dual nature. With high energy compounds, be they sugars or fats, we'll be talking about the problems associated with fats here in a little bit. Whenever you have a high energy compound in nature, whether it's a high energy vitamin or nitrates or sugars or oils or fats, there's a good side, which is represented by all of the energy that can be used by the body to get work done. And then there's a dark side, which can cause problems. High energy compounds have a dark side. They can react with things. In the nitrate and nitrite world, these high energy compounds can be used as raw materials for improving heart health and circulatory health and high blood pressure, for muscle building, for immunity, for brain function, for ergogenics, that is performance enhancing. And there's a dark side, and that's represented by the tendency of nitrates to form cancer-causing compounds, especially when they are subjected to high heat, as in frying or as in grilling. This is the big problem associated with bacon and processed meats, which are loaded with nitrates and nitrites artificially put into the meats to act as a preservative. The nitrates and nitrites that are found in meat products have been added as preservatives. And then when you grill and when you fry and you subject these meats to high heat, the nitrates can get converted into cancer-causing compounds, especially in the body. This is where all the bad press associated with nitrates and nitrates comes from. If you want to take advantage of the power of nitrates for your heart, if you have high blood pressure, if you're post-surgery, if you're an athlete, think vegetables, especially think vegetable juice. Vegetable juice is like a nitrate tonic. And this is one of the most important benefits and probably the source of the uncontested and well-recognized power of veggies to improve almost every single marker of health and wellness. We all know that veggies are really important, and certainly veggies have vitamins and they have minerals depending on the soil they were grown on. Of course, they have vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients, and they're all important, but the nitrates are really, really important, and there's a lot of nutritionists who feel like the benefits associated with eating vegetables may be related to the nitrates, the nitrate content, the nitrate and nitrite content. And you want to make sure your veggies are whole. In addition to using vegetable juices, you want to make sure that you're getting everything in the vegetable. We talked yesterday about using a Vitamix or using a high-powered blender that keeps the fiber or the pulp. The pulp has got super valuable nutrition in it. You don't want to throw your pulp out. If you grind the pulp up, you'll actually get extra nutrition. Even if you don't grind the pulp up, you'll still get the fiber value. When you juice a veggie, the cells are crushed, and the nitrates are going to be more readily accessible to the body. This is the advantage of juicing. You always want to make sure your juices are fresh. As soon as you make a juice out of a vegetable, you break it up, and for a few moments or seconds or maybe a minute or two, the nutrients are going to be very easy or much easy for the body to access. But after a few minutes, all that electrical energy and all that nutritional value in the juice is going to begin to dissipate. If you've ever made a juice and let it sit on the counter, a fresh veggie juice, and you let it sit on the counter, you'll notice that it kind of separates into two sections, a watery section on the top and a solid section on the bottom. That's your evidence that you're losing electrical energy. You're losing electrical value from the juice. As the electrical energy dissipates into the air, all the forces that hold the juice together and hold the vegetable together, they dissipate as well. And as that juice is sitting on your counter, you can almost observe visually how the energy is dissipating into the environment by how much and how fast the juice is separating. So you want to make sure that you're using your juice as fresh as possible, ideally right away, like within seconds. And you're not only going to get the value of the vitamins and not only get the value of the minerals, but you're also going to get the value of the nitrates, which will be much more easy for the body to access. The nitrate content of veggies is one reason why vegetarians don't necessarily have to suffer from weakness and frailty. A lot of times, people who are vegetarians have a reputation, and sometimes well-deserved reputation, for being weak or being frail or being skinny, not having a lot of muscle mass, not having a lot of bone mass. Well, if you're a vegetarian and you want to avoid frailty, make sure you're getting lots of nitrogen. Make sure you're getting lots of plant nitrates and nitrites. Make sure you're getting lots of veggies. Make sure you're getting lots of nitrate-rich veggies, especially spinach, lettuce, arugula, beet juice, green leafy vegetables. This is one reason why you want to make sure that when you're eating these vegetables that you're using a little tiny bit of heat. A little bit of heat will release the nitrates. Not a lot of heat, but a little bit of heat will release the nitrates and the nitrites. Even leaving your vegetables out in the sun, even after your vegetables are picked and if they're left out in the sun in the field, the nitrate content will get bumped up. So a little tiny bit of heat can bump up your nitrate content. And there's also one other trick you can do to increase the nitrate value of your vegetables and make them more accessible to your body. We'll tell you what that is when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. All right, a few more things I want to say about nitrates and nitrites, and then tell you about a nice strategy you can use to upregulate or bump up the nitrate, how much nitrate value you get from your veggies. Green leafy veggies, spinach, arugula, parsley, beet juice, celery, these are all great sources of nitrates. If you heat your veggies a little bit, you'll upregulate or bump up the nitrate accessibility. As I said before we went to break, even leaving nitrates out or vegetables out in the sun after they're picked can upregulate or bump up the nitrate value of the vegetables. One of the advantages to getting your nitrates and nitrites from plants is the cofactors that are in plants, bioflavonoids, for example, and vitamins, especially vitamin C and other phytonutrients. All of these offer significant protection from the formation of these cancer-causing compounds. The big problem with nitrates and nitrites in foods is when they're added as artificial preservatives. But when they're found, these nitrates and nitrites are found in foods, they're protected. These compounds are protected. They don't get turned into the cancer-causing compounds as readily. That's the beauty of plants. They're the whole package. Veggies are the whole package. They've got the cofactors and the nutrients that protect from the formation of carcinogenic compounds and also improve the nutritional value of everything. It's a synergistic effect. All the nutrients in a plant and vegetables work together. And this is a classic example why whole foods are always preferable to any other food source and even to supplements, theoretically. I know we talk about supplements here on the program every day, and I've been supplementing for many years, and I attribute a lot of my health to the fact that I've been supplementing for so long. I don't get sick. I don't get colds. And I attribute a lot of that to the fact that I supplement every day, and I've been supplementing for many years. But I still hate that I have to supplement. I wish I could get everything that we need from food, but everything that I need from food. But you can't do that. That's not going to happen. Whole foods are always preferable to supplements theoretically. Unfortunately, because of soil erosion and mineral depletion and processing, you never really know how much nutritional value you're getting from your plants or from your vegetables or from your fruits. You can always be sure that you're getting your nitrates, however, especially if you're eating conventional produce. That's because one of industrial farming's greatest technological advances, or tricks if you will, was figuring out how to saturate the soil with nitrogen in the form of fertilizers and basically supercharge the growth of plants. This is what nitrogen fertilizers do. When fertilizers were first developed in high amounts, or they figured out how to make fertilizers in industrial quantities at the beginning of the 20th century, farmers went crazy. Industrial farmers, that is, went crazy putting nitrogen on the soils. And these days, we're paying the price. Yes, it's true that these industrial nitrates, or industrial fertilizers, supercharge the soil, and we got lots of abundant growth of plants, abundant growth of crops, but unfortunately all of this abundance came with a price: nitrate pollution. And as it turns out, it's not just crops, it's not just corn and wheat and soy that benefit from nitrates. Everything does. And when the nitrate fertilizers run off from farms and agricultural facilities that use lots of nitrates, eventually those nitrates hit the water supply, and we got some big problems after that. Once those nitrates hit the water supply and they end up in the ocean, very, very bad things can happen. Nitrates and the trace amounts that you get from plants, that's a good thing. But high concentrations of artificially produced nitrates that end up in the water supply, that is not a good thing. And this is a source of a lot of toxicity. And it's a big problem when it comes to algae. I'll tell you why. You see, algae are plants in a way too. They're vegetation in a way as well. Not exactly, but close enough. And nitrates like algae like corn or like wheat or like other crops, they thrive in abundance on nitrates too. And then when the algae get all of these nitrates from the agricultural runoff, it ends up in the water supply and ultimately ends up in the ocean, the algae start to grow so prolifically that they can actually create areas of low oxygen. They burn through oxygen via their growth and ultimately end up with dead zones in the ocean. And it's a big, big problem. You know, there's hundreds of dead zones all over the world, and a lot of them are caused by overgrowth of algae that follows nitrate pollution. You know, there's a dead zone that's 24,000 square miles wide. That's the size of West Virginia. There's dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico. There's dead zones in the Pacific Northwest. There's dead zones in the East Coast off the coast of Virginia. And all of these are attributed to nitrate pollution that comes from fertilizers. And this is one of the reasons why we want to be going organic. Let alone the health benefits of going organic. Obviously, you're not getting pesticides. That's always a good thing. Let alone the health benefits to us for going organic. What about the health benefits to the environment? Using organic foods, fertilizer-free foods, the more fertilizer-free foods we eat, the less fertilizer is necessary, the less fertilizer will be used, and the better off the environment will be. So to sum up, nitrates, nitrites in their plant and veggie form, good thing. They're a source of nitrogen, they're a source of nitric oxide, and they can help with circulation, they can help with the brain, they can help with the heart, they can be keys to staying healthy and getting healthy. Veggie juices, veggie soups, and veggie salads. And by the way, you can get nitrates on top of your skin too. You know, if you put spinach with a little bit of heat and a little bit of oil, I'll tell you about oil here in a second, you can actually bump up the nitric oxide level of your skin. Nitric oxide improves circulation. That means more nutrient delivery from your veggies that you put on top of your skin in the form of a mask, a spinach mask or a parsley mask, any kind of vegetable mask. You grind up your vegetables, put a little oil, subject them to a slight amount of heat, and then just put them on your skin. You'll upregulate nitric oxide in your skin. You'll have better circulation, better detoxification, better nutrient delivery. And then, if you put your topical vitamin C on your skin afterwards, or even mix it in with your spinach mask or your parsley mask, you'll get better absorption of your vitamin C, especially if it's a lipophilic or fatty version of vitamin C. And this brings me to a very important point. It's always a good idea to mix your veggies with oil. The oil will bump up the nitrate availability. It will increase or improve how well your body can absorb the nitrates and the nitrites. Yes, oil. I did say oil, and I've been getting all kinds of letters and phone calls and questions about oil. Is oil bad? Is oil good? What's the deal with oil? Personally, in my opinion, there is a lot of valuable nutritional elements that you can get from oil. And when it comes to nitrates, there's an interesting chemical reaction that occurs between nitrates and oil, and the oil can improve the accessibility of the nitrates. I'm going to have more to say about this whole oil controversy, and it is a little bit of a controversy. And personally, in my opinion, there are oils that have a tremendous nutritional value, and you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater if you avoid oils. That's my opinion. I know other people have different opinions. We'll talk about that on our next Brightside episode. When we come back, we're taking your phone calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. 844-236-6010 is our number. Time to hit the phones. Let's go to Rose in Virginia. What is up, Rose? How you doing? Rose. Do we have Rose? Or no? No Rose. Rose? All right, I'm going to put Rose back on.
You know that I got cut off. What I was trying to share was the Dr. Ben Carson, which I had in higher esteem. I heard him the other day on Fox saying vaccines are not dangerous. So he's not part of my likes anymore. And then Ron Paul, he's a neurosurgeon of all things, retired, but, you know.
I thought he was an eye doctor. I thought he was an eye doctor, no? Wasn't he?
No, neurosurgeon.
He's a neurosurgeon. Rand Paul's a neurosurgeon, okay.
No, this is Ben Carson.
Oh, Ben Carson, yes. Ben Carson is a neurosurgeon. Isn't Rand Paul an eye doctor? Or ophthalmologist?
Yeah. Well, Rand Paul, I'm not sure what he is, but I know he's an MD. Rand Paul, he said that he opposed, he believes in the freedom of parents to make decisions about vaccines, which is good. But then he made a public decision to have somebody get a vaccine shot in public, you know, and for me that was, you know, I guess he's being political on the second aspect.
Well, you know what? That's a little too political for me. I try to stay away from politics. I'm suspicious of all of them. You know, I don't trust anybody who's running for president or running for any political office, to be perfectly honest. There's so much you have to do to get yourself on a ballot and to start to run. There's so many compromises you have to make and promises you got to make to people, and it's a dirty business, and I don't even like thinking about it or talking about it. So
yeah, but the reason I share is because, you know, it's good to know what goes on so we can pray and be aware of our surroundings. And I always relate it to the Word of God, you know, to be aware and, you know, to have our eyes open and know what we're fighting against.
That's the best way to be. That's the best way to be. Keep your eyes open, but don't get attached to any of the results. Rose, I got to move on. Do you want to say anything else?
May I mention something?
Sure.
We went to this restaurant in New York, and these halal restaurants, they have fresh meat and without toxics. Another thing I wanted to mention is, there's just a few. Sage is good for memory. I hear Dr. Daniels, he's in Republic, he's very good. If the audience was to hear what she said on Sundays.
Kayla Daniels? You're talking about Kayla Daniels?
No, I don't know her first name. It's Dr. Daniels. She's an MD, and she comes on Republic Broadcasting on Sundays. I hear Dr. What's his name? Dr. Parker Pathway. He's very good. He comes there too. And then above all things too, is your show. I always, you know, in high esteem. I wanted just to share this. What I wanted you to add, to mention whenever you can about polio vaccines.
Okay.
And I wanted to share this. There was a lady the other day. She gave me a testimony how a mother's touch can make a difference. She said that she had a stroke. Her mother, who's 92 years old, I guess a few years ago, her daughter had a stroke. She came and took care of her daughter, and the daughter, with her care and faith, she was able to recover her speech and, you know, and the memory. So that's something so beautiful.
That is beautiful, and that shows you the power of things like love, the power of things like touch and attention. And thank you for sharing, Rose. Appreciate it. I got to move on. God bless you. Appreciate it. All right, let's go on to Cathy in Missouri. What's up, Cathy? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hi.
Hi, Cathy.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you this morning, Cathy? How can we help you?
I need to figure out what I need to do on, they found I am a cancer survivor.
Okay, congratulations.
Breast cancer, and I'm going on 9 years.
Nice.
But I recently had some issues with my side, and we did some contrast.
With your thigh? What did you say, your thigh?
My side.
Oh, your side. Okay.
On my side. And they thought it was a gallbladder, but when we did a CT with the contrast, They found some lesions on my spleen, 3 of them, and 1 on my liver, and they were all benign. We do also the longevity beyond tangy tangerine and the Osteo Plus.
All right, let me give you some help, Cathy. Let me give you some help, okay? Because believe it or not, what's happening to your body is pretty generic. It happens to all our bodies when our bodies are in distress. This is so important. Now, if you've listened to this program, I'm going to say this. I'll probably tell you the same thing I tell everybody else, because our bodies break down generically. To us, when we have a health challenge or a health crisis, it seems personal, it seems unique, but in terms of how the body breaks down, it's generic. The body breaks down the same way. So once you start to have lesions that are appearing all over the body, what it really means is cells are going crazy. Spleen cells or gallbladder cells or wherever there is in your body, it's the cells that are going crazy. And cells go crazy only for one reason. By the way, cancer is the same thing. A cancer is not cancer, it's a cancer cell. And cells turn cancerous when they're stressed. Just like any other system, any other living system, when it's stressed beyond its capabilities of absorbing or utilizing that excess energy that's represented by the stress, it goes nuts. So once you start to have growths and lesions and cancers, what you're really looking at is a cell system or a group of cells that are distressed. They're freaked out, just like a baby is freaked out. Your cells are crying just like a baby would be crying if it was freaked out. Why do cells get freaked out? That's the only question we got to ask. Number 1, lack of nutrition. Number 2, lack of oxygen. And number 3, accumulation of poisons. This is the only reason we get sick, Cathy, and everybody who's listening to this program right now. These are the only reasons chronic degenerative disease shows up. Not because of the organ or the tissue, not because of the gallbladder or the spleen. You go to the doctor, they'll take your organ out because they look at the organ or the tissue system. I'm telling you to look at the cell. It's the cells that are whacked out. When we have a chronic degenerative disease of the bone, it's the bone cell. Of the liver, it's the liver cell. If we got psoriasis, it's the skin cell. If we have heart disease, it's the heart cell. If we have any health challenge, we have a cellular health challenge. Why is this important? Because doctors can't help you at the level of a cell. They can only yank out a tissue or an organ or drug a tissue or an organ or irradiate it or do some kind of damage to it so they don't have to look at it anymore. At the cell level, the only thing that causes disease is starvation, suffocation, and toxification. The only thing that reverses it, Cathy, is feeding the cell, oxygenating the cell, and detoxifying the cell. How do you do it practically speaking? Number 1, you focus on a good nutritional supplement program to make sure you're giving your body and the cells the 90 essential nutrients. That's where the Healthy Start Pack comes in, and all nutritional supplements really. And also good food. Secondly, oxygen. Make sure you're deep breathing slowly and throughout the day. 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night, and also throughout the day. And then thirdly, you got to make sure you cut off the stream of toxicity that enters into the blood through the digestive system, and that means focusing on problem foods and eliminating those, and then patching up the gut. Hang on, Cathy, I'll tell you what I mean about patching up the gut when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben, you're listening to The Bright Side. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Cathy in Missouri. You there, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, number 1, focus on making sure you're getting all your Mighty 90 essential nutrients. You're already doing that, it sounds like. You may want to throw in a little extra vitamin C, which is very important for keeping cells growing correctly and for fighting cancer, preventing cancer. And that would be the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You're good there. Make sure you're practicing deep breathing, slow deep breathing, activating the healing nervous system, the parasympathetic relaxation nervous system. Sit on the couch in the morning, spend 2 or 3 minutes deep breathing, do it before you go to bed at night, and then all through the day as you remember to do it. Slowly in through the nose, slowly out through the nose. And slowly is the operative word there. And then the detoxification element is very important. If you have a history of cancer, chances are there's either toxins getting into your system or you're having a problem detoxifying. And if you have a spleen issue, you very likely could have a liver issue as well. So you want to focus on detoxification. Number 1, that means if you have any food problems or food allergens, food intolerances, if you notice that there's foods that cause you digestive distress, dairy, grains, eggs, peanuts, there's lots of foods that could do it. Those are foods that need to be eliminated. At your point, where you're at, in terms of your health, you have to have zero tolerance for any of these foods. And then also also patching up the gut. There's lots of ways to do that. I love glutamine powder. That's one of my favorite ways to patch up the digestive system. Bone soup, any cartilage-containing products will do it. The Fucoidan Z and the Z Radical will do it as well. So make sure you're sipping on bone soup all day long. Make sure you're using your Z Radical as well. And then perhaps the most important element of the detox system as well as the digestive system is probiotics. If you're not using the Biolumin Nightly Essence, you should be. And then also you should be using fermented foods liberally. In fact, that should be the bulk of your diet. Between bone soup and fermented foods and also perhaps vegetable juices, that should form the bulk of your caloric intake. Let's see what I was going to tell you here. Biolumin Nightly Essence Fermented Foods. I was going to tell you to get the book, The Art of Fermentation. It's got lots of great recipes in there, and it's real easy to understand. It'll give you a good basic primer on how to use fermented foods to improve your health. So lots of things you could do there, Cathy. If you're not doing those, I highly recommend that you start right away. Deep breathing, in addition to your supplement program, and then all the detox strategies, focusing on digestive health, digestive system detoxification. If you want to do one more thing, get yourself some N-acetylcysteine, NAC. And you have to buy that at the health food store and take 200 or 300 milligrams of it a day. And it probably wouldn't hurt you to use something like bentonite clay or zeolite, both of which you can add to water, drink it once or twice a day, and it'll help suck up or absorb excess toxicity. And it sounds like that might be an issue for you. Thanks so much for your call, Cathy. I got a bunch of calls here that I want to get to, so I'm going to let you go. God bless you and good luck with everything. All right, let's, Bill in Alabama. Welcome to the Bright Side. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, Bright Side Ben.
Good morning, Bill. What's cooking?
Well, a lady called me 2 or 3 nights ago. She has diabetes, and I have heard Dr. Watt say over and over again that it's a simple nutritional deficiency. Yes.
Well, it's not only a nutritional deficiency, although that is involved. It's a simple issue, though. It's a food issue.
Good.
It's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy. You know, Doc freaks people out when he says, "Oh, you can reverse it, you can cure it," and he's right because it's
this lady.
Yes. Okay. Here's what you got to do. Diabetes, number one, is an eating disease. All right? I don't know how much clearer I can be. It's an eating disease. That means if you're eating and nobody's forcing you to eat, that means you got control over it. So change the way you eat first and foremost. And that means zero tolerance, as best as you can do zero tolerance, for anything that spikes your blood sugar. You got to resensitize your body's ability to handle sugar, and that means laying off of anything that activates your sugar processing chemistry for a day or 2 or 3, and then slowly reintroducing these kinds of foods in very tiny amounts. And that means a couple of bites of bread or a half a banana or a quarter banana kind of thing. So you fast for a day or 2, and then you reintroduce foods, and you start to you make sure you're using very, very small quantities of processed sugars, zero tolerance ideally on processed sugars, and very small quantities of sugars, natural sugars that are found in fruits and vegetables. That's step number 1. Certainly breads and pastas and rice and potatoes and desserts, those you should really not be doing any of those things if you have diabetes. The second thing you want to do is start to use nutrients that help the body process sugar, and there's lots of them, lots and lots of them. Interestingly, the nutrients that help the body process sugar are water-soluble, many of them. And that means when you go to the bathroom, we lose those nutrients. You lose your B complex, very important for processing sugar, especially B1 and B3, thiamine and niacin. So make sure you're on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. If you're drinking lots of water, make sure you're including some Beyond Tangy Tangerine in that water. If you've gone to the bathroom in the middle of the night a couple of times, make sure you're doing some Beyond Tangy Tangerine first thing in the morning. Most diabetics will notice that their blood sugar is higher in the morning. And one of the reasons is because they haven't replaced their nutrients that they've lost during the night. Secondly, in addition to the B complex, you want to make sure that you're using magnesium, very important for helping the body process sugar, as is selenium. So the Beyond Osteo Effects, and then also selenium, maybe 400 micrograms a day. Zinc and vitamin A are also very important for helping the body process sugar. Make sure you're using 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day, and then 20,000 IU of vitamin A a day. And then make sure you're using more fiber and more protein. If you have a problem weaning yourself off of sugar, increase your protein content. The more protein you eat, the less you're going to want sugary foods. And then also increase the amount of fiber that you eat. Again, the more fibery foods you eat, the more filled you'll be and the less hungry you'll be. So between protein and fiber and also coconut oil, which I love, you can help wean that will help wean you away from sugary and also fatty foods as well. Once you start getting enough coconut oil in your diet. By the way, coconut oil is a good source of vitamin E, and vitamin E is also important for helping the body process sugar. If you want, you can take a little extra vitamin E, 400 IU of vitamin E. Nobody has to have diabetes, yet 100 million Americans do, or at least pre-diabetes or diabetes. This is so tragic. It's a leading cause of death when you factor in the heart disease that's associated with blood sugar problems, and you factor in the cancer that's caused by blood sugar problems. In my opinion, blood sugar issues, so-called dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar, is the number one health crisis that we confront. It's tragic because it's voluntary. Wean yourself off of foods that spike the blood sugar by using more protein, more coconut oil. Resensitize your body to sugar by fasting for a couple of days, and then get on all the micronutrients. I forgot the chromium and vanadium in the sweeties as well. Use the Healthy Start Pack, and then throw in the sweeties. And it wouldn't hurt to have your friend throw in the Biolumin Nightly Essence. The digestive system is very important for helping the body process energy, and diabetes is in many ways an energy processing problem. So Biolumin Nightly Essence will help you as well. There's so many things you could do, Bill. The ultimate tragedy is that nobody has to have blood dysglycemia or diabetes or pre-diabetes. And the beautiful thing here, Bill, is without drugs, if your friend follows this protocol, without any drugs, without any doctoring, not only will her blood sugar drop, but her weight will drop too, and her blood pressure will drop too, and her longevity will increase. And if she has any inflammatory diseases, those will be reduced as well. Thanks so much for your call, Bill. I want to move on because I got tons of calls here. Let's go to Stacy in Florida. What's up, Stacy? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hey, is this Stacy?
Yes, Stacy.
How's it going, man? How can I help you?
Going good. I had a question. I heard you talking about glutamine powder.
Yes.
For digestion a little bit ago, and I have issues with digestion. 2003, I was diagnosed with colitis.
Okay.
And I've been dealing with, I tried the drugs and the steroids, and that didn't work out. So I went the natural way. And,
okay. What'd you do?
Well, I completely changed my diet. I mean, not overnight, but little by little, I learned to eat.
Did you notice that you got better?
Oh, absolutely. It was life.
Isn't that amazing, Stacy? So you got better by changing your diet. You healed faster and more completely by changing your diet than you did on the prednisone and what the doctor gave you?
Absolutely.
Isn't that, do you see how powerful that is, Stacy? Don't run. I want everybody to hear that. You see how powerful that is? You could have gone to the doctor every day for the rest of your life, and he couldn't have helped you anywhere near as much as what you did simply by in the comfort of your living room or in your kitchen by simply changing your diet. Isn't that amazing? What the heck do we need these boneheaded medical professionals for in the first place? Tell them to go get a real job. This is so, as a healthcare professional, I can't tell you how ticked off I get by the idiot model that tells you got to be on prednisone or you got to have organs removed when Stacy's not a medical professional, can heal himself in the comfort of his own kitchen. Thank you, Stacy. That's all the time we have for today. I apologize. If you have any questions, call back on our next program. I'll take you first up. And I apologize if I left anybody on hold. Try to get to as many calls as I can, but that's just how it goes on the Bright Side. Call back on our next episode. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to the Bright Side, friends. Check out my website, brightsideben.com, or my blog, pharmacistben.com. And check out the longevity products on both those sites, or call the Bright Side Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, and they can tell you how to join the Bright Side Ben team. Love to have you on my team. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a spectacular, wonderful day. We'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.